Which throwback heavyweight would have beaten Oleksandr Usyk, the current heavyweight champion of the world, if they were to fight in this era? That was the question I posed this morning, and I was thinking of a few names, and I do think that there were guys that were capable of beating Oleksandr Usyk, but here's my thing. With every sport, at least in my opinion, I feel like as time goes on, obviously sports gets better, medicine gets better, nutrition gets better, people learn from previous generations. And so for the most part, I feel like as we move into the future and away from the past, fighters should be getting better, right? And I do feel the same way about our current heavyweight, era, even though a lot of people may downplay it because, boxing isn't as popular as it used to be maybe in the 80s and 70s and 90s with regards to the heavyweights. But I do think there are a couple guys that could have competed with Oleksandr Usyk and given him a great fight, right? First and foremost, the guy that comes to mind, Evander the Real Deal Holyfield, almost exactly like Oleksandr Usyk, right? In that he was a cruiserweight champion, moved up to heavyweight, became a heavyweight champion, very deep amateur pedigree. I think that would be a great fight because he's got the heart of a warrior. But, I saw Evander Holyfield get beat by Lennox Lewis, who I thought was the absolute man. Can't take away too much credit from him, but I saw him get beat by Lennox Lewis. I also saw him get beat by James Toney, and I just feel like Oleksandr Usyk, for whatever reason, would not have let either of those things happen with his skill set, with his pedigree, with his heart, right? We got to think about his heart too. Because he definitely got caught in a couple of these fights. I think about, the way he got uppercutted in that Tyson Fury fight. He was very much compromised, I think, and didn't show it, had a great poker face. So, I think it would have been a great fight, but I do think Usyk would have probably outpointed Evander Holyfield. Another guy that comes to mind absolutely is Riddick Bowe, a guy who, beat Evander Holyfield 2 out of 3 times. I think Riddick Bowe gets forgotten, but I think in his prime, definitely a big-time handful. And I mentioned it before, Lennox Lewis. I think a guy like Lennox Lewis would have posed a lot of problems for a heavyweight in any era because of his skill, his toughness, and most importantly, his length. He really was or seemed to be the first of the very big, tall heavyweights using their jabs. And I think that's what gave him a lot of success, right? Another guy I thought of, a lot of people might not say this, but, I was thinking about, what about Mike Tyson? Mike Tyson in his prime, I think, had he not gone to prison and kind of gotten his career placed on hold for a while, that explosiveness that he had, I think would have been such a problem for a lot of people to deal with. So I think he would have been a great opponent for Oleksandr Usyk, potentially getting him out of there, right? If he were able to, land something clean, which is the problem with Usyk, but potentially being able to get him out of there because he was just so explosive, so fast. And so, those are some of the heavyweights I think about. I'd love to know who you guys think would have been a great heavyweight to put up against Usyk and that could have beaten Usyk. Let me know in the comment section below. After you do so, subscribe to the channel. Join the channel to help me continue to grow. Get your Fighters Rep merchandise, the link below. And I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about this in the future.